Hello and welcome everybody to the final match in the quarterfinal round of this 2026 Winter League Dragon Warrior Randomizer race. We have Judgejoe, Beta, Ziggy, and Engidave up on screen. I am Aaron T2, and with me on comms is Diabetes the Second. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. We've got two of our newest players here in their first events in Judgejoe and Engidave. We've got veterans Beta and Ziggy trying to hold them off. It'll be interesting to see who advances out of this quarterfinals.
Indeed, it's been a real interesting journey for everyone here. You have Beta, who has been in the finals twice, I believe now. And of course, our summer tourney reigning champion, Ziggy, has made it to the semifinals 2 out of the 4 years he's been doing this. 2 out of 4, and this is his 5th year, actually. So we'll see if he's able to get back there. Engidave, again, first time to this, pretty new. But Judgejoe taking the 1 seed and winning 4 out of his 5 races. Expectations are high. Let's see what happens.
All right, here in the throne room, starting off with the wings and the gold, so that's free keys. That's one thing accomplished.
Indeed, yeah, get those free keys. You can go back in, just buy more, and, buy some. We're not sure how many keys we're going to be able to buy because there's a very random amount of keys.
So immediately we're seeing our runners, first off, check a cave or town location, which turns out to be the staff trade-in right outside. Everyone going back into the castle, using their throne room key to buy more keys, and we'll see how many keys we're able to purchase. So that is one of the flags this week, random key and herb carry. Normally it's 6 of each. Here it will be between 0 and 9 herbs and between 2 and 9 keys. Obviously lower numbers are more frustrating and annoying than others, but it looks like they are able to max out based on their gold, so it's probably at least 7. I didn't count them, though.
Yeah, I think that was all I got, too. I don't think anyone else had any more money for that. So what do we got here in the treasury? I see fairy water, dragon scale, torch.
Looks like another torch and another torch. So 2 torches, fairy water, dragon scale. Is that what it looks like?
Yes, and then I forgot what was underneath. I saw it briefly. I think our restream is stuttering a lot more than your guys's, so it's a little hard for us to tell what's going on. Unless that's just me.
It's not. I was just trying it as well. Oh, well, who cares about keys when level 2 has hurt more? Well, this is going to be an interesting Jetty Seed.
Yeah, get that hurt more. Might see, one of our flags this week is bonk damage being on. Might actually see some people just end themselves very quickly to go. But it looks like Beta, at least, and Engidave are still grinding. I think they're just gonna, empty out their stuff and see if they can pick up 4 before they die, which I believe Beta just did.
Yeah, it's kind of a might as well situation. It clears the inventory out, so makes inventory space for other things that you actually need. Level 4 has a healing spell. Wow, what is this? Easy mode.
Yeah, we have one where there was no healing recently, to like 13 or 14 or something.
I might know something about that.
Yeah, Beta takes the old Slamu, dives into the swamp to finish himself off. Ziggy's going to have the same fate, although he almost saw everything on the screen there in the corner. I'm pretty sure that's a dead end, but there was one square of potential path still. We see Joe picking up that level as well, so I believe it's at 2 of our runners on 4, 2 of them on 3, and now we're getting to see the Hurtmore pop out. Beta immediately into, is that swamp or mountain?
I didn't see where Beta went in. It looks like Ziggy is in the mountain cave. takes down a green dragon for 154. That rolled up a little bit. That's a pretty nice prize. Picks up a couple levels. We'll go from 3 to 5. Sorry, 6.
And so we saw Hurt in return as well. Not heal is going to be more useful for him, but we knew that one was at 4. Looks like Beta is setting up a reverse count, getting that information in his head.
Yeah, it looks like the castle is somewhere pretty close to the southeast corner of the map, so single reverse, double reverse counts, both in play here. Ziggy unable to fully clear the mountain cave. Did not get that second green dragon down, did not die to a single Hurtmore, unfortunately. As Judgejoe gets ambushed by the Rogue Scorpion, another great Hurtmore target near start, but not if it ambushes you and takes you out before you have the opportunity to do anything.
That's going to be one of the big questions then, is who's going to be able to get the actual good fights with Hurtmore, because that can just be a gigantic question mark. And it seems like Engidave's going to try to just pick off some Zone 1 enemies. Looks like it's the same for Beta. Judgejoe going the Western Zone. Looks like nobody is pushing too hard yet, although maybe that's an exception for Ziggy, who is, I believe, back in Mountain.
Yeah, I like this play from them, because the tough thing about a really early Hurtmore is, you know, you get those big $ flashing eyes where it's like, I need to go take out targets that are really valuable. But at the same time, as Judgejoe finds out again, another fantastic target in the Magiwyvern, they're just a little bit too strong. Low agility, you're going to get ambushed, you don't have the hit points to survive, and then you end up with no XP instead of even some.
Yeah, and hit points seem to be our big limiting factor right now. I mean, nothing's really high, we're still at a very low level, but hit points are particularly low. And yeah, there's still one shot to like half of the game, and with 23 agility, or 25 even on Ziggy's side, that's not really gonna be very safe.
Possible treasure guard here on Ziggy's side. Chest 3 and 4. It is the sword in chest 4 in the mountain cave. So Erdrick's sword, if we didn't have enough offense before, we certainly have it now.
Yeah, very nice. Get that one out of the way. You know at least you're not going to stumble into that into the overworld, so you don't have to worry about somebody else finding that.
It's not able to clear the final chest, so we still have one chest pending in the mountain cave. We'll see how quickly the other runners do that. But again, with Hurtmore, there's no real, you know, driving incentive to get down into that cave immediately. I mean, it's nice to have those things, but other than finding the armor, you know, Hurtmore's really all you need.
Yeah, I think half of it for Ziggy here might literally just be to keep getting experience, because he's seen some decent enemies down there, like that green dragon.
And to answer your question, chat, yes, I believe chest 3 in Mountain Cave was a gold chest, so a gold grind is available, I am quite certain. As if we needed, you know, more things to make this go faster.
Indeed, yeah, there's just I mean, we're going to get a really fast start here, but there's still going to be quite a bit of exploration to go. The start is a little bit linear, but it looks like it does open up here on the west, where Judgejoe has been peeking out a little bit. Maybe we'll see. If the seed winds up being very linear, then things like whoever gets repel first might be very advantageous, and who's just able to not get themselves killed wandering around the overworld.
Yeah, and just, you know, choosing when to do certain things. So to your point about repel, whether you choose to try to push out exploration early versus settling into a grind nicely and maybe get those, you know, advanced healing spells, not dying. So all those things could come into play. Plus, just sometimes it's order of operations as well. Especially when you're landlocked down here, it seems like in the southeast corner of the map, someone's going to go straight west and find one set of things, someone else is going to go north and find the same things in the reverse order, and one is probably better than the other, but we don't know yet.
I believe Ziggy died again, not making it there, but he's gained some levels. He might just go straight back. Judgejoe found some interesting enemies to the west, like a Wraith Knight, and it looks like he might try the basement now, too.
Well, Beta's back down in Mountain Cave as well. He just picked up his sword and probably will give us our first look at chest number 5, assuming he can take down this Magiwyvern. No ambush. Good, good. It's worth 71, not as good as it normally would be. And it is another gold chest, so confirmed there is a gold grind available in the Mountain Cave if our runners choose to take advantage of that. For defensive purposes, once we find a town, it might not be a bad idea. Surviving a lot of these Sharlock tier enemies that you want to be hurt mooring is a little bit of a problem with 50 HP, although it is better than at level 6, without any defense.
We see Ziggy picking up level 9, which looked like it was 1-1-18-1. The hit points coming up a little bit, and now I wonder, we might see him push out, especially now that he's completely cleared Mountain Cave. But who knows, he might be able to find another Green Dragon or Magiwyvern, or even Star Wyvern.
Yeah, this zone down here is just really, really super valuable. I mean, if there's ever a time to grind in a cave when you have the option to grind elsewhere, I mean, we've got Magiwyverns down here, we've got Axe Knights down here. Green Dragons, I think, were upstairs. I don't think they were here on the second floor. Like, this is just free money.
Yeah, chat has pointed out 155 experience in the Star Wyvern. Was at 150 something on the Green Dragon too. Those are both very good enemies to have in this scenario where you're probably not going to get one shot by them now, and you're reasonably likely to kill them. As Ziggy almost gets one shot, but he was, he didn't have all his hit points, so you could blame him for that.
Also worth noting, since we didn't really fully run through the flags here, if it wasn't obvious, at least Mountain 1 is rotated in such a way that it is not what it normally looks like. We've had some runners navigate very easily since they do not have Radiant yet. Judgejoe had a little bit of trouble there. It's tough when you walk into Mountain, it looks symmetrical with only a 3x3 view. So he was walking toward what we would typically think of as the southwest corner, which is not the right way. He did finally make it through to the first chest, but he's got another trip ahead of him here to try to clear out the rest of those chests, get his sword.
Yeah, Mountain 1 in particular is just tricky at the start. It's even with Radiant, it might take you a second to realize what you got to do, because the sides open up very similarly. So it can be. I think just about everyone I've seen at some point has goofed that one up.
A new town on Beta's side. We have the town of Cole accessed from the item shop spot, so that's kind of nice if you need to, I don't know, buy like 10,000 herbs during your seed. I don't know if that'll be required here, considering we have early heal. Smartly, I think he walks all the way around. He stays at the inn to fill up his MP. He's going to check the shop before he checks the search tile. Makes sure that whatever is there, if there's a treasure guard, that he should be able to take that out and make any purchases first. Unfortunately, not a lot there that he can afford. And no treasure guard guarding the fairy flute.
Yeah, well, flute is pretty much normal. This seed can be useful. If we're thinking ahead about to next week, though, that flute is going to be something very special. So people who are flute enjoyers, look forward to next week.
Yep, it'd only be as helpful here as it typically is in Standard. If it works for the golem and the golem's on a spike tile somewhere, then cool. If not, it's just taking up an inventory spot. And especially with early Hurtmore, I don't think we're going to be fighting too many golems here.
Now, although you do have the sword, so I don't know. You probably don't need to, for sure. Which, speaking of the sword, Judgejoe obtained his.
Was that a new location on Ziggy's side? I caught it like just as he was dying to that Star Wyvern. He had walked all the way, it looked like, to the southwest corner of the map, or what looked like it could be. I don't think he actually got into that location.
I do not know. However, Beta has found Garanham. So he's gonna, looks like he's just gonna check. Oh no, he just blew the door open before he decided to visit the inn, conserving some MP and keys.
Makes sense. So he found only a large shield to purchase in Cole, but he's going to upgrade that to a half plate and large shield here in Garanham. And again, this is what we talked about. Ziggy went west and found the southwest corner and found whatever this other location is. Beta went north, and he found Cole and now Garenham. So looks like it's Cantlin for Ziggy. So, Cole didn't have anything worthwhile. I mean, I guess the flute could be worthwhile, but maybe Cantlin and the coordinates could be much more important.
Well, we got something. There's a Magiwyvern hiding back here in the Garenham Town Hall. And it's the heart. So one of the 3 trade-in items. Usually the one you want to see first. And now it is in Beta's possession.
And in the back of Garenham, we have a vanilla grave. It is, looks like just mirrored vertically.
So the coordinate check from Ziggy, 34 north, 54 west. I don't know. I think that's pretty countable. I don't think you're going to reverse it. And he might... he's going to chill here. I don't think you would do anything reverse-wise, but you could just count from the bottom, I suppose. Plus, we do have the Overworld Treasure Guard setting on, which has actually tripped up some people who have relied on that. And when they didn't find the enemy, were a little confused.
Yeah, it's difficult. If it's an area that you haven't been to before, it kind of makes sense. It's certainly possible that you encountered the actual treasure guard and didn't realize it earlier. Or, it won't be the flute in this case, but if it's also the death necklace, then there just won't be a treasure guard. And sometimes we've seen that death necklace can be really important in this flag set.
Indeed, again, most of the functions of this flag set are pretty much standard. So there's not a whole lot of changes, and the ones that are little tweaks here and there that do not change the basic gameplay too much. But Ziggy finds 2 more locations over here, and this one looks to be South Swamp. Excuse me, that's 3 locations. And something Wanderdown said in chat there about the chords might be a little bit north of Cantlin. We saw that Rogue Scorpion, and I thought for a second, just maybe.
I didn't see Beta actually pick up the chests in the grave in the back there. He looked a little confused on the top floor. Again, no Radiant yet. So I'm not sure that he actually got them, if someone in chat can confirm for us. Otherwise, Ziggy in Hawksness now, fighting the Stone Man, is able to take it down. Urdrick Sword plus Sleep equals defeated Stone Man, also level 11. Heal more, nice, but no prize otherwise.
While all this is happening, Judgejoe has made his own way to Cantlin, and Engidave has cleared out... I don't know if he cleared out Mountain, but he did get the sword. I think he might have died a little bit before that last chest, so if that's the case, that's going to be unfortunate. He'll probably want to go back at some point. Looks like Ziggy is going to go through Swamp. He's probably going to check the spike here, since we've already seen the spike in Hawksness is unfortunate. Or no, he's not in Hawks. Never mind, he went to Grave. I forgot. Oh no, that's Tablet. I'm so dumb. Yeah, they look the exact same. I completely forgot.
And we got a Remolder sighting on Beta's side, coming in from the top side. Again, we don't need keys. We've got both keys and Hurt More. But we're going to get more checks in. There's not many things that we haven't seen at this point.
Okay, now he's going to go through there. And hey, that's the death necklace for Beta. That's pretty good, isn't it?
And it does confirm for us, although he doesn't have the information yet, that something required, or, well, yeah, ostensibly required, is going to be on the coordinates.
Indeed. Now, I saw Ziggy not go into the cave. I'm thinking maybe he is trying to squeeze out some kills with his remaining levels. Again, the Star Wyvern out here is so nice. Now, he's leaving, but I thought was there a town there? 'Cause he's pretty low on resources. I'm getting myself all confused. It does appear that Judgejoe is counting right now, though, as we see a very deliberate walk. His golem, though, has been a pain in the butt for him, but he is able to get away.
If only there were some way to neutralize the impact of the golem.
Oh, he's going north. He's met this rogue scorpion, but I think we saw these guys in the zone. Is it possible that you have to go further north than what you can do here, or is he just about to find it? I think he's gonna have to do an over the water count.
It does look like that. However, I don't think he saw this trio of locations yet. I could be wrong on that, and it's nice that the coordinates led him to it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he hadn't seen those before, so he will either drop a count over or he'll figure out something. I don't know. We do have the swamp cave right there. He might be able to just rescue the princess if he so desires, but I don't know how you get around with that, and I don't think you'd want to try to keep counting, especially he's very low on resources at this point.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he wasn't walking back to those locations immediately. He kind of walked off to the west first, but maybe he's going to check them now. He is. We've got Swamp South. And then Hawksness, of course, which, again, when you don't have any resources, is not ideal. Probably would have thrown a heal more there. He would have had 5 MP left over. It turns out to be not a terrible play because it's a stone man and not something that you're going to hurt more, but...
Oh, he just leaves. Yeah, I wonder. But I don't think he's seen well, I don't think he's bought any herbs. I don't know. Do we have herbs in this seed?
I believe Engidave tried to buy some in coal before picking up the flute, and he was not able to. So unfortunately for Judgejoe, that trio of locations has no healing spot, and he is very trepidatiously walking through Tablet Cave here. At least it's not totally dark, but Tablet Cave is very annoying when rotated, and without an easy way to either see over the walls to know where you're going or to escape. I don't think we have outside, do we? No, we don't.
He is walking very carefully. I would not be surprised if once he does get the item out of here that he just decides to not leave and just takes the bonk death because this is so difficult. But he did cast heal, so that'd be a strange thing to do. And yeah, he cast heal and then he decided to bonk to death, kind of backwards.
Yeah, it's tough, because if there's a treasure guard there, you want to not immediately die to it. You probably want to save the hurt more, or ability to hurt more something. It's just... didn't work out.
Right, I was completely forgetting about treasure guards. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Diabetes. My apologies to Joe. But it seemed like we had two very different exploration paths. Although I think, is that a new town / cave on Ziggy's screen?
I think he's walking from it, but I didn't see him do anything with it. So
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, that was the other end of Swamp, according to chat. Thank you, chat, for keeping us honest here. It's way in the northwest corner of the map. And apparently it's a tiny island of nothingness because Ziggy is going to take a combo swamp / bonk death in the only swamp tile that was there. It's kind of funny.
It would be funny if you took extra swamp damage, like while you were bonking. It would be just like, I'm going to die the fastest I possibly can.
A couple players now at level 12, both Ziggy and Beta hanging out there. Judgejoe at level 11. Engidave still on level 10. Unfortunately, just seems to have not quite gotten the same set of enemies to grind on here. I wouldn't say he necessarily has a strong exploration advantage to trade off, so Engidave needs to find some things to kind of bring him back into this race a bit. A Metal Scorpion with DL2 Breath is not one of the things.
Oh, that's hilarious. Breckenary hiding behind Charlotte. Sometimes there's something fun or interesting behind Charlock, but today it was just Breck.
And with Cole right outside on the front end, it's not even a good spot to heal before going into DL2. Unfortunate.
Yeah, Judgejoe did not see Breckenary on the backside. He will not suffer for... Oh, he accidentally cast Hurt More. I don't think that was on purpose.
I mean, it landed, which is great, but he also didn't have any resources. Not great.
We've seen Beta walking quite a distance. Hasn't really found much of anything, though. I wonder if we have a couple of things hiding. Actually, what do we have left? We've seen all the search spots. We've seen Mountain, Grave, Stones. Have we seen Stones Cave?
I think Stones Cave, and I don't recall seeing Drop turn in. I think those are the two locations we're perhaps missing, unless I've just missed them. In terms of checks, I think it's Stones Cave and Bottom Grave. Plus, of course, the coordinate spot hasn't actually been sought out either.
True. I was just looking. We have one harp already turned into a Staff of Rain on Beta's side, which means 2 key items between the overworld search spot, Stones Cave, and Grave, and then possibly armor, but armor could be in Charlock.
Oh, that would turn this just into a much more interesting seed, especially after such a start that was very jetty and seemingly very straightforward. A armor in Charlock ending could really turn the tables.
I did note that Engidave took out a Metal Slime. One of the peculiarities of this flag set is that with the scaled Metal Slimes flag on, it actually locks the Metal Slime maximum at 255. It's supposed to be 200 to 300, but again, the scaled kind of does what it's going to do and overrides it. So that one I think was just 224. And Beta finds the many locations of the West. And he wants nothing to do with Tablet yet. And that is very Beta. He had said before, back when we had, he didn't have permanent torch on as much, that he would refuse to ever do Tablet Cave in the dark. We want to do it in the almost dark.
I mean, honestly, it's only one check. I mean, we have a lot of other things to see here. And if nothing else, he has 2 other locations on screen. He does have outside, which Ziggy and I think Engidave did not, Judgejoe did not have. So at least you'd be able to exit quickly. But you've got 2 other locations on screen. Maybe you don't even have to go in there.
Indeed. Engidave did find Cantlin picked up his coordinates, so we have 3 sets of coordinates known and 0 sets of coordinates locations found yet. So there's still 3 different things that could be there.
Beta opting to go through the Swamp Cave. We'll see that I didn't see what was south of this end of Swamp. I know that up here to the west is going to be the northwest corner of the map and nothing. It'll be interesting, though, I believe Beta is the only one that does not have the coordinates. It was sort of looking like he was going to end up in a direction where the coordinates might have to be, so if he has to do a lot of walking back and forth, that could be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, there is I don't know. I think the odds that the coordinate count would be in Swamp here are extraordinarily low. I think Ziggy would have picked up on it if it went that far south, but it would have to go, over half of the map south, so...
Yeah, I was more thinking if he didn't go through Swamp Cave. Oh yeah, it's a very tiny island. That is nowhere near. But if he goes back through Swamp here, if he I'm assuming, goes west and then it loops back to the north, that I would imagine is going to be where the coordinates are, but he doesn't know that.
Now, Ziggy is heading over to where he might be able to pick up the coordinates again, I believe. In fact, that might be exactly where it is, because I don't know. That was a potential enemy, and I didn't think he had to go too far north, so... Or I guess not, yeah, it would be over there. So unless this is it, it might be this werewolf. Oh, never mind. Judgejoe found the stones of the coordinates. Thank you, chat. I am missing things.
Yep, there we go. Ziggy's got them now as well. So 2 quest items in the books.
All right, we do see Beta bringing up. He is now at level 13 as well. He's been keeping up with Ziggy and the experience for the most part here, even though it feels like he's had a lot longer walks without seeing things.
And as expected, he is going to backtrack here and go through Tablet Cave. Annoyed as he is, I'm sure, as we all would be. And he's only going to get a key for his troubles. But he does have outside to at least quickly exit, which is nice.
That might explain, the pacing he was doing outside, that he really just wanted to get Radiant. Well, I, for one, am glad that at least one of these seeds, Radiant, didn't come super early. I felt like it was present for everybody else when they needed it.
Yeah, late Radiant, it's not like it's Stair Shuffle or the alternate chest locations or whatever, but it's still really annoying to be able to have to go through these caves and quickly navigate to the spots that you need to go. I think Slamu may have said it best during his comments post-race yesterday. He called this annoying standard. I would tend to agree. There's a lot of things about this that remind me of a standard flag set, and the flags that are enabled don't necessarily make things challenging or necessarily make them, difficult, but they do make a lot of things annoying.
Indeed, and Beta has now also obtained coordinates. It looks he's going to go ahead and leave here normally. I'm trying to think, again, you said the Rainbow Drop Cave is the one thing we haven't seen yet?
I believe Drop Cave, and I think we have not seen Stone's Cave. Honestly, I'm not sure where these locations could be at this point, because it feels like between all of our runners, we have to have covered everything. But apparently we have not.
Now, Judgejoe is taking out the Stone Man, so he'll get his nothing here in a little bit. Oh, that wasn't the right Stone Man! Jeez. I couldn't tell from the screen. I feel like I was a failure on my part.
It's a Stone Man, it's in Hawksness, it's close enough. So looking again at the XP, Ziggy in a clear commanding position there, nearly 5,400 XP, closing in on level 14. We've got Beta at level 13, but just hitting level 13, I believe. Yeah, he's just at 4,600, so about 1,000 XP there. Judgejoe a little bit back, and then Engidave hanging out at 2,700, not quite level 12.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the Swamp Spike for either runner, and it's kind of not in a good place. Not really near anything in particular, so I'm not sure what these guys will grind on if they need to at the end.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a couple locations there, but nothing that's a healing town. And with the Hawksness Spike tile being a Stone Man, that's not a great grind either. If it rolled way up, you could consider it if your attack power is really good. But, I mean, we do have that basement of mountain / swamp, or top grave, which could be good. Maybe we do a walking Charlock grind. We still don't know whether the armor is in Charlock. If that is the case, we might see some early Charlock dives for a grind plus armor. We have, 3 things left to check at this point? We've got Stone's Cave, and we've got the bottom of the grave. We need 1 quest item, and we need 1 armor.
It does appear that Beta is doing his coordinate count, but he's doing it a little bit differently. He likes to do single coordinate counts when he can, and it seems like that's what he's doing. He's counting the north, and I think he knows he has to go around, so you might see him double back here in just a little bit to get those stones. As Charon was pointing out, level 14 came with 22 MP, so we're getting pretty close to ghost stats. Nothing is perfect or comfortable yet, but we're getting pretty close.
So we are going to get a Swamp Spike check from Judgejoe. This Green Dragon isn't it, this is the tile before it. So he's got to take 1 step, and it's a Golem. He does have the flute, Again, you got hurt more. It's not ideal, but if it rolls up, especially in XP value, this could be the grind of choice at the end.
I think I saw Engidave take out a golem, but I couldn't tell you how many hit points or how much it gave. I could tell you how many hit points they generally have, but I think most people who run this could. Well, Ziggy's found Garenham, which I believe has the harp, and I think also had the grave underneath, correct?
It did, and like I said, I don't even remember what was on the top of the grave. I feel like Beta went in there and I didn't see him get the chests. I don't know that anybody else has been in there at this point, have they? Did we even see the top of the grave? I'm sure we did. But regardless, he will pick up his harp here, and potentially he's got full resources and plenty of runway, so he can make it to the bottom.
Alright, 277 on the golem. That's still better than the stone man by a mile. It's a lengthy fight. Oh, unless you just crit, and then it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, of the options currently available, it's certainly not the worst one. I don't know if it'd be exactly my favorite. And if you've got hurt more, it really feels like a waste to not be using it.
I'm paying extra special attention to the top of grave here, which was apparently the non-existent herb, key, and wings. So, unfortunately, I mean, if we got a torch instead of that key, we would have had the full KFC.
It looks like Ziggy is going to try to make a play for the bottom here. Again, no Radiant. Annoying for having to do this navigation in an upside-down grave, but he is going to do it. Makes sense. Again, I'm not sure what exactly he has left to check at this point, but if you've got 2 treasure chests here, I think he's seen enough to know that the odds are he's going to need to check everything, so makes sense to just do it now.
Indeed, and for whatever it's worth, I didn't find grave to be too difficult to do in the dark, at least deep grave, because you don't turn back and forth too much. You pretty much just go straight lines.
Yeah, the biggest annoyance is probably the hashtag or pound sign floor, because of this exact reason. It looks exactly the same whichever way you go, so you don't know if you're going to the wrong staircase for staircase number 2. In this case, he picked wrong.
Oh, he's going after this golem. Engidave has rescued the princess, so looks like he's not going to bother with that count. Going to be, I think, the only one of our runners to pick up Gwaelin.
Let's see if we hear another flute toot for Ziggy. I did not catch what the tune was there. Rudolph, it's not Christmas. I guess it is winter, so it is appropriate.
Still technically Winter League. I think we're going to see spring before Winter League is over, though. I heard the East Coast is getting some snow. That's wonderful. So we know that was the important chest there. Now we know that Stone's Cave has to have something, right? Oh, no, wait. No, that's right. We already got the stones. I'm dumb.
No, yeah, we've got Token, which is now in Stones or Grave 5, and Armor could be in one of those 2, or Armor and Charlock.
Now we see Joe and Beta both going here. Joe's going to pick up his harp. Beta is... it is actually great, and Beta is going 100% the wrong way. There's a trick to rotated dungeons in most of the areas to know where to go, and Grave has one in particular that's kind of cheeky. It's well, like where you see Joe is, if you go down and then right, that's the right path. It's the one you follow the single square on the entrance there, and that will lead you in the right direction.
All right, final chest in the grave is a torch. Uh-oh. I think we have in the booth confirmation and in chat as well now. That means the token must be in Stone's Cave and the armor must be in Sharlock, barring us forgetting about a thing that apparently exists.
I did a mental map real quick there, and I think we've seen everything else. Rim was the one I couldn't remember. And yes, what chat says, Just Chris there, Ziggy does know that, so he is... Okay, that was an accident. I was like, what is he doing?
The question is just, where are these locations? Also, he navigated that through Grave fairly well. Beta and Judgejoe are now doing the same. I see Beta walking into a lot of dead ends, so hopefully he can make his way through. It looks like he's going for chest 4.
Ziggy...
No, he's still on the top.
Yeah, Ziggy immediately found Stone Cave right past here. So it must have been Beta died in here, never went back, and no one else went this direction. But he does pick up the token, and now he just needs Staff of Rain Cave and the Rainbow Drop Cave, and that's it.
And you know what? Beta is picking up these top 3 chests. I think that he never checked them. I think he got in here and just never navigated around to it. I saw that he was fighting the Star Wyverns in his first trip through, so he's picking these up. He could also potentially be setting up for a gold grind, but it's in the mountain cave in the basement of the castle, so 1, it's pretty late to be doing that, and 2, it's basically already set up naturally, so you don't need to check those 3.
I don't know, Beta is a big fan of magic armor and trying to do a single dive, but with the lack of, interesting grind, he might just go ahead and dive early anyway and not worry about that.
And I mean, honestly, if you're gonna have to do a dive, getting the Silver Shield is certainly not going to hurt things either. So it makes sense in context. But again, I'm not sure that he needed to pick those 3 chests up to set it up specifically. So that makes me believe that he didn't actually check them, which... yeah.
Do we know that Ziggy knows where the Staff of Rain Cave is? That would be my one question, because I would 100% just warp back and not do this if I knew, because it probably can't be anywhere else it would be, right?
I mean, it's 2 steps from the castle, so he has to know where it is, whether he's remembered or not. But I think this got to be the drop turn, and this is a very, very long walk.
Well, there we go. So I couldn't remember. You get me with the map, man. When I'm doing commentary, I got no idea.
I mean, I can understand it from that perspective. It's like, if he's got multiple areas on his map that are not fully fleshed out, I could understand wanting to finish where I am and saying, okay, it definitely is up here, so I know where to come back, or it's definitely not up here, and I don't have to re-walk all of this to check again, because that is far. That is way up to the northern edge of the map and then off to the west, so it's like a 200-tile walk. Not ideal.
Yeah, to kind of frame our race here right now, Ziggy's picking up 15. Actually, let's see what he's get first. They got Radiant. I was hoping it would never come.
Boo, no Radiant. Too early.
Those are certainly not go stats, so that was the big question. But we have Ziggy, who looks to be in the lead now. He's got the experience lead, and he's got the information lead, although if we're looking at where they are in Grave, Judgejoe has been outpacing Beta in the exploration down here, so he's taken a little bit of the lead. However, Judgejoe has the malice here that he has to go all the way back to start, where Beta does not. So Beta might just be able to outside and get to that token early. So it seems like, as far as the positions go, Beta's got a little bit of an advantage, but we still have plenty to go. And I didn't mention Engidave. He's still just missing too many things right now. Has a lot of stuff to find. I know he got the princess. I don't know if he managed to get the stones or not yet. I didn't see if he did.
Apparently not. He had checked at some point with the princess to see that he was only maybe 20 or 30 steps away. I'm not sure what happened that he wasn't able to pick them up. He might have been on the wrong side of the well, I would say river, I guess frozen tundra, frozen lake. Or Engidave, I believe on his screen he just saw the rainbow drop turn in. That is, again, in a very unfortunate position, and it's also not going to lead him in a direction he needs to go quite yet. Beta did make it through, got his torch out of the final chest in the grave. Judgejoe is about 15 steps from doing the same, and then both of them are going to be on the lookout for those missing locations. Stone's Cave for the token, and then the rainbow drop turn-in. But as Aaron mentioned, Beta is ready to go for that. Once he picks up his token, he can do the turn-in right away. Judgejoe will have to do a back and forth.
Although, yeah, he's gonna... That would be the... I love this! This starting location is so trolly because it's like, oh, it's really close to the inn, except that NPC is right in your way every single time. And there's so many people have bonked in the NPC. It's amazing. Joe just gave it the...
Alright, token for Beta, completing the homework, just needs to turn it in. Ziggy is turning in right now, so actually Ziggy and Beta are going to be quite close together from that perspective. Ziggy about 1,000 XP advantage over Beta at the present moment, plus Beta needs to actually find the cave. It's not far from here, it's basically due west. So advantage at Ziggy for sure.
Is it just me, or is he going straight to Sharlock?
I don't blame him. Again, I'm not super convinced about these grind spots. I don't know that he checked the golem in Swamp Cave. I could be wrong about that. And if he didn't, I certainly wouldn't want to grind anything else. And I'm also a big fan of the single dive for armor and game at once. If there was an instance to not do that, 66 agility and not having done a gold grind is probably a good reason to do it. And not having a good spike tile grind.
Yeah, I think the only golem fights we saw were on Judgejoe and Engidave's side, so we'll see if Joe decides to push straight through or not. Again, he does not have the staff, so he's also pushing out to try to find that location. He is not going the east direction, which Beta did, so he might be saving a little bit of time going straight west here.
One other thing to keep in mind for an armorless single dive, no herbs. So that's going to require even more extra heal mores, and with no ability to kind of do that intermittent healing if you get punched by something, that's kind of problematic. So I really like the early armor dive here.
Yeah, it just makes sense contextually, even if you prefer to not do those sorts of things. I would be a little surprised if not everyone does it, unless they just happen to hit go or like be 5 levels ahead. And another good thing about the doing this dive early though is you get to throw out that radiant, so you can kind of burn the maps into your head the first time through. So the second time, maybe you don't bonk as much without using it.
That's true, and also the illumination of the enemy sets, I think, also comes into play here. You have a little bit of an idea of what enemies are here. Is this a reasonable grind if I want to come back here to try to get whatever levels I need? And just for safety purposes, is it full of red dragons that I haven't seen the entire seed and they have sleep deal too? Or is it a bunch of, nerfed wizards and werewolves and things? So far, it's been fairly accommodating. Of course, the Axe Knight dodging the first hurt more is not ideal. So already that MP pool is about half gone. We're still on the first floor for Ziggy, so he's got a long way to go here as he gets ambushed again.
Yeah, you have to moderate the MP use a little bit here, especially without the armor. I mean, you wouldn't be doing this probably if you didn't have the armor, but you got to be careful to not put yourself into a dangerous scenario. Like, you see him throwing out heals, you normally wouldn't use heal once you have heal more in this sort of scenario, but it makes sense to just top off.
Engidave has finally made it over to the second continent. It's caught up to level 14. Took a look at the stats there. Still has no armor, which feels really, really bad this late into the game. But, I mean, you've been kind of living on borrowed time just being this glass cannon the entire seed, so it kind of makes sense to just keep going with it.
Yeah, him picking up the Staff of Rain. He has whatever distance it is here to where Beta is, who is just about to find that jerk, I think? Or did he? Yeah, he went past it already. I think he's coming back.
Yep, there it is. I was going to say, he followed the northern coastline, and you can't quite see both coastlines at the same time. So a little unfortunate, so he loses a little bit of time there. And actually, that took him a lot longer than I would have thought to find that drop cave after getting his token. So Ziggy has not only expanded the XP lead here, but he also now has basically a full Sharlock dive ahead as well.
Alright, so which chest? Oh, there it is. Unless that's like a souped up gold man, maybe? No. Yeah, I think he just realized he doesn't have the fighter's ring, and now he does. So anyone who guessed the $50 chest doesn't win anything because we didn't actually start the game, but congratulations anyway.
Let's see what he elects to do here. Looks like he's continuing to walk. He might be checking the spike tile here on the bottom floor just to see what it is. He doesn't have a ton of resources to do that. Also, again, without a great grind spot elsewhere, I'm not sure that I would necessarily outside out immediately either. If I had a good grind spot, I would definitely outside and immediately leave, but this pile of golems matching the bricks on the floor actually kind of works.
And considering how close this is to Fantagel, you probably don't even need to... You can probably just, especially if you have golems or something good on the spike, you can just exhaust your resources and don't feel like you lose a lot of ground.
Alright, here's level 16, 3, 11, 21, and 2.
That is very tight. I think that's on the wrong side of things. Maybe if you had a silver. Let me run the numbers.
Again, having to go through the entirety of Sharlock and then fight the Dragon Lord with no herbs also does not make things great here. The 11 agility is nice because the agility was in the 60s heading into this fight, so getting up into the mid to high 70s is pretty decent, but 127 with not Death Necklace HP and only 12 heal mores I don't think is it.
I think it's winnable. I mean, again, you're a little worried about the herbs, but I would say this is probably... If you can get some fairy water, which I don't know how close Cantlin or... Well, Cantlin's not too far away from start, I think. I got no idea. Well, Breck's actually on the other side. That's right. So you get probably... Well, you would probably toss the Death Necklace if you went. So that would be, what, 17, 16, 15, 14. You would need a couple of doubles, and you need to not lose a heal more on the way down. Have we seen a lot of... We saw some Armor Knights, didn't see any Red Dragons, I don't think. But also, I don't think Ziggy is that type of aggressive. I don't think we'll see that happen on his end. Beta and Joe are different animals, though, and if Beta feels behind, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and I mean, in this type of race, it's different than what we would typically think of in terms of strategy. You don't necessarily need to win. You just need to finish in the top 2. So, I mean, that can burn you, because if you're playing for second, you might finish third. But not necessarily playing to win can be beneficial here. You don't want to make the mistake that's going to cost you, 6 or 7 minutes of a full Sharlock dive when, it might take another 3 minutes to get an extra level. So that could be an option here.
Indeed, and Joe, I think he might actually be grinding right where he is. Does like because he got the rainbow drop and he didn't immediately bolt back, did he?
The blue dragon is 212. It is a pretty decent enemy here. It rolled up a good amount. It's not necessarily my preferred option, but it is not a bad enemy. He's so close to level 16, but did not grab it there. He needs 16 XP for it.
Yeah, that would be a okay. I'm not casting repel. Come on, Drakey, or Drakema.
Alright, Ziggy did get all the way to the Sharlock Spike Tile. It was indeed a golem, so he has the flute for that. That's fine. Chat noting, he did have the option. He did clear out or at least enough chests in the Sharlock Treasure. If he wanted to go to the basement for a silver shield, he could have gotten the gold out of the mountain cave. I would say at this point, it's probably not worth it, but he could have. I think the bigger issue is what he decides to do right now. If it were me, I'd probably just head right into Sharlock. I'll fight a couple things along the way, and I get what I get. Looks like he's going to head west, though, toward Cantlin. Pick up some fairy waters.
Maybe he's gonna go from here, because it looks like, yeah, he's selling stuff. He might just try to pick up the level somewhere on the way, which is, possible. There's some enemies you can kill and hope to get a little extra strength. That might be what's in his head. As we see, Beta he's picked up 16, but he is really tight on resources, and Joe's got a bit of a way to go yet. So might be a scenario where Joe needs a little bit of help to get back into this.
Yeah, I think from Ziggy's perspective, it's looking like it's sort of kind of like a hedging your bets type of deal. You're kind of doing a little bit of both. It's like, well, I'll just get the fairy waters and I'll be ready for the fight if the stats don't change, but I'm going to get the level and then maybe I won't need them. So it's sort of playing both sides. I would probably, honestly, I'd probably do the exact same thing, even though doing one or the other would probably be better. And he's actually going to head into Swamp Cave. And he's going to grind on the golems here. I mean, he only needs, 3 of them to get the level, so it'll be quick, but I probably would have just fought a few things in Sharlock on the way down and assumed that I was good to go. Because pretty much any stat gains at this point are going to be enough.
Indeed. And, yeah, as mentioned, Joe has been ducking the enemies, not fighting them. Beta's got his now. Okay, maybe he's just picking and choosing his battles. It's actually a good thing a lot of times when you're diving Sharlock to not be super aggressive right at the beginning, because you can just completely wipe on resources and not make it to the bottom. I can't tell if Beta was trying to die or not there, but we'll probably see him, bonk to death. And we'll see what happens if he decides to go run to a grind or if he just tries to go. And I think if he goes, he might be ahead of Ziggy, although he still would have to grab fairy water.
Yeah, the fairy water trip's going to take a little bit here, for sure, if he elects to do that versus just grinding out another level. Meanwhile, Ziggy is going to grab level 17 here on this golem. Are the stats good enough? I mean, frankly, they're kind of good enough with fairy water now, but anything is good, and 8 strength is more than he needs.
Yes, that just went into overwhelming victory now. The 13 swings on 13 heal mores with double chances. You're not going to worry about having herbs.
Engidave catching up a little bit on the quest items and such. He was able to dig out his token from the grave. He was able to dig out the grave and then found that his token wasn't there, but he did find that. I believe he has seen the drop cave across the water, so he knows generally where it is, not necessarily that he knows the exact path. But obviously he has quite a deficit to overcome here, about 5,000 XP behind Ziggy at level 17.
And Beta has decided to go, I don't think he actually saw the spike here, so he's just checking it. But it looks like he has decided to grind, which again will give Joe an opportunity if he does not do that. 16 is tight, and they did see some Armor Knights. You could possibly lose 1 heal more and still win, but you're counting on a lot of doubles, and it looks like he is going to check the Vanilla Sword location first.
Not the odds-on play. We know from the booth it's not going to be the winning play either, so this is a little bit of extra time sink I mean, he'll probably fight a few enemies along the way here, so he is getting something out of it, but not as fast as the golem fights will be for Beta here momentarily. Ziggy, meanwhile, has now headed to Sherlock, presumably for the definitive dive. 13 heal mores in the tank. Should feel very comfortable.
Joel took a little bit of a risk there. He had a DL2 hurt Morse chance of getting wiped by that armor knight, but he just get through it. It's actually possible he can get the level while he's here, warp out, and be a little bit closer than Beta on the redive, if he gets some good enemies. But Beta's got what 3 more golems.
Yeah, Beta's definitely going to hit the level earlier. He does have a little bit of a walk, but it's not far. And I don't think there's going to be any hesitation for any reason from Beta. And I don't believe he set up fairy waters or anything, and he shouldn't need them either. So that'll be a little bit of time save for him from that perspective. Meanwhile, like Joe, if he doesn't get the level here, he may elect to try to go for fairy waters first. Again, kind of hedging the same bet that Ziggy did, but I would imagine it's going to be a one or the other scenario.
Yeah, and I don't know. You never know if the fighter's ring has actually entered people's minds or not. It's very easy to forget about that sucker, even though like what everything else is. So while we're saying all this, though, Ziggy has entered the basement. No problems whatsoever on this dive up to now. He knows what's on the spike. He's the only one who knows what's on the spike. So he'll be ready for that. It's actually, maybe another good reason to not want to go on 16. Is Golem is not the most comfortable enemy on the spike that you could see.
Alright, armor pickup for Judgejoe, level 17 for Beta. Crit for Ziggy, you love to see it. 129 was not enough to take out the golem. Follow-up takes it out. And Ziggy, our first to be declared a fool.
Alright, again, these hit points are, and where everything is, there's no reason he would use the death necklace here. So it's just going to come down to the swings, but he is coming in with a very large advantage. Opener of 17 and then 15 for the opening double, 32.
Range of 8 to 17 as well, so that was a good start to the rolls.
10 puts us at 42. And now 53. It bumps up to 65. Actually, I've lost count already, so it's not my fault. I never do a good job counting. Don't even know I was trying.
I would try to help you out and pick you up there, but I was not paying attention to that because I was paying attention to Beta now entering Sherlock on his definitive dive. He's on the first floor. Judgejoe tried to get around to the spike tile but was unable to, so he's very close now to level 17. And now Engidave has started his armor dive as well. But really, Ziggy should have no issues here, barring any miss menus. He does have only 79 defense, so he does need to be conscious of 50 being possible as a physical attack from the Dragon Lord, so don't swing on 50 or less.
And there it is. Finishes off with 3 heal mores left, probably 4 swings left to go. A very clean and easy fight, and he will finish first and move on to the semifinals.
So congrats to Ziggy. 103.48 officially. Gonna be our first place finisher. I'm sure we'll grab him here in the booth here momentarily. Meanwhile, Beta has made it all the way to the bottom floor, so he's about a couple minutes right now ahead of Judgejoe. Judgejoe also needs to finish getting the level here. I'm sorry, he just got the level. So he should be good to go. But again, Beta in a commanding position here, barring any sort of mismenu shenanigans.
Indeed, and definitely it's just gonna plays this safe and should be in shape to be our second place finisher, but there's still some work to do. Of course, it goes through everyone's head the moment you see that the first place finisher finishes, and you start to be like, "Oh crap! All right, and you have no idea if anyone's ahead of you. You have no idea where anyone is, and the pressure is just certainly and suddenly on."
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's that two finishers, the top two finishers get through here. So as long as nobody's finished, you feel like you have a little bit of buffer. But as soon as that first person crosses the finish line, there is no buffer left. The next name that appears in that room, whether it's yours or someone else's, is who is going to advance. And speaking of advancing, we are joined in the booth by Ziggy. Congratulations on the first place finish. Welcome to the semifinals. How do you feel about your performance tonight?
It's funny because I was kind of worried early because I had a lot of untimely deaths in Mountain and close to Cantlin and around Cole. And so I was kind of worried that I ended up a little bit late on exploration because it was kind of a quick seed. Level 2 hurt more, a lot of experience everywhere. It was very easy to get, nothing that was really dangerous. But it seems like if there's something that I ended up being a little bit lucky on is finding Jerk very quickly, which was the last location I needed. So maybe that was the difference, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll continue talking about it and kind of getting your thoughts here in a moment. Beta has headed into the Dragonlord fight now as well. He shouldn't have any issues either. Again, basically coming in, same point. He was ambushed by the Dragonlord, of course. But again, Ziggy finished the fight with 3 Healmores to spare, barring, again, a mismenu or absolutely atrocious rolls. Shouldn't have any major issues here. The rolls have not been great. Although that was an 8 by a 17, so the min and the max.
Yeah, nobody decided to go at 16, I see, because, yeah, it was a little bit tight, and one herb with low agility. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Judgejoe has also made it to the Golem Spike tile, so he'll be joining Beta in the Dragonlord fight here shortly, but again, it's just going to come up a tiny bit short. Engidave continuing the armor dive here, taking out an Axe Knight, heading toward level 16. Judgejoe really trying to get the heal walk on here with no herbs, and it's just not working. I'm famous for saying it because I do it way too often. Even when the heal walk is the only answer, it is never the answer.
Oh, but he put on the death necklace. That is interesting. I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Even looked at his stats, but it could be a very interesting DL2 fight. But with all that said,
he did that with my race as well. He fought the Dragonlord with low HP in week 2, so I think it's something he has a lot of confidence in.
Oh yeah, he did that in week 3 as well, now that I think about it. But Beta does finish off the Dragonlord. DL2 is down, and he will finish in second place in this race with a final time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 14 seconds.
Congrats to Beta finishing in the Beta position, so he will advance to the semifinals as well as we take a look at Judgejoe and see if he can figure this Dragonlord fight out. Again, no silver shield, so 50 is on the table for DL2. Not exactly what you want to see with 95 max HP, but he will certainly do his best. His range is going to be 11 to 22 on the Dragonlord, so he doesn't need as many swings, but he will either have to take some risky swings here or just be satisfied with whatever rolls he gets.
I'm surprised he did not swing there on 47. I feel like if you're doing this, well, that would have been bad in that situation, but that isn't what would happen.
I mean, the odds are still very much in your favor that you're going to get swings in here. I mean, to truly be in danger, I mean, he only needs to have an average DL2 breath against him or physical attack. But, I mean, he's most likely going to get the swings in. It's just a matter of, oh, there's the 50. I haven't been counting it, so I'm not sure where he is, but he elects not to swing there. He would have survived. Final attempt. Gets it done. Easy.
All right, GG's out in chat for Judgejoe. Will end up a little bit short here, but does finish off the Dragon Lord in a spectacular fashion. Just an extraordinarily good tournament, but unfortunately, we're at the point now where you have to be in the top 2 to move on, and the first time in the entire tournament, he does not finish in the top 2.
$1:10.14, 2 minutes short of advancing to the semifinals. Meanwhile, Engidave did pick up his armor, is going to make the quick egress out of the castle. We'll see what he elects to do. It looks like for the moment he's at least planning on continuing to play it out here. If he's paying attention to the race room, he knows that he's been eliminated, but I respect for sure continuing to play things out like this.
And we welcome into the booth both Beta and Judgejoe. Welcome in, GG's. To you first, Beta. What were your general thoughts about the seed?
The late Radiant was pretty trolly, Grave was pretty trolly. That's the one cave I never bothered to fully learn without the Radiant spell when it gets flipped around like that, so I was very reluctant to go in. And then it had nothing, and armor was in Charlock, so it was just like, great. And early Hurtmore is always just a mad scramble, so I had no idea where I was at in this race at any point.
Good old exploration panic. It's a classic.
Yeah, I was running around like an idiot looking for Rainbow Drop Cave. I think I almost full cleared the map. There's like 2 small, tiny sections I didn't look at.
That's probably where my lead came from. There's about a quarter of the map I didn't explore.
And we had some interesting comparisons there at the end too, because, well, first off, just to kind of frame it, Judgejoe and Ziggy both were kind of doing the same thing for a while, although Ziggy was outpacing a bit on the experience, and Beta, you were kind of off a completely other direction, but you all united about at the same time in Grave, and we got to see, if you're curious, I think Beta, you won the Grave race, but lost the drop race, if that makes any sense.
That does actually make sense. I'm a little surprised I'm a little surprised I won the Grave race. I mean, the first time I was in there, I was like, do I really want to do this? And then once I saw the enemies in there, I'm like, I don't want to dive, I just want to grind.
And GG's to you as well, Judgejoe. What were your thoughts about the race, generally speaking?
Early power was probably to my benefit. Needed to push, needed to really try and optimize time and routing, get a bit lucky if possible. I knew that it was going to be a very, very tough race to make it out alive. So I did everything I could to try and speed it up, including a death necklace that nearly killed me.
Where was the death necklace again? I'm trying to remember that.
Rim.
Yeah, that rim was... I didn't want to walk around, but hey, it had something.
Yeah, I mean, with armor in Charlock, you were, I mean, where it eventually was, you were probably going to check everything anyway.
Engidave has elected, after getting level 16, probably realizing that level 17 is probably going to be a lot more comfortable, has elected to DNF here. So GG to Engidave, who also joins us in the booth. Just to wrap up our performances tonight. So sorry, continue, Judgejoe, and then we'll get to you, Engidave.
Turns out with not the best defense that 95 is 1 or 2 lower than you kind of want for HP.
We all were a bit surprised that you elected to put the Death Necklace on, because the fight was very winnable without it, certainly. And that made it a lot more dicey to get it done, which is a good thing. A lot of 20+ rolls there, which was great.
If I'm rolling good with the necklace, it saves time. I don't know that it loses that much time if I don't wipe, and, well, when every second counts, I'll go for it. Also, I don't have math quite memorized. I thought I might have been at 97.
Yeah, the Death Necklace math is the only time where, because normally everything rounds against you in DWR. Like if it's an odd number or half, it rounds down. But the DN actually rounds the other way. But yeah, I think what we usually say, was it 127 or 128 is the sweet spot. But like me, I'm always like 130 because I always forget what it is. So I don't worry about it.
Yeah, and with nobody elected to do a Silver Shield grind in this one, probably makes sense, because getting to the point where you would want to do that really kind of took a while, where you actually found... Actually, were there Silver Shields anywhere? I assume there were, but...
Antlin, like, real close by.
Okay, so, I mean, nobody elected to do that, so it put 50 on the table for DL 2 as well, so that kind of introduces not even like 129 or 130 being where you want to be. It's kind of... If you want to be extras, double safe, you kind of want even a little bit more beyond that. So again, Engidave, welcome in. GG on making it into the quarterfinals and qualifying for the playoffs in your first DWR event. What are your thoughts on this seed tonight?
I hate early hurt more seeds.
What's there to hate? It's early hurt war. Offense in a can.
When you're against some of the best players in the game, know that they're going to utilize it much better than you will.
It definitely is a completely different seed without hurt more in the early game. Again, you could call it potentially an equalizer for less experienced players, because it just kind of introduces potentially a lot more randomness to things, but I can certainly understand not necessarily feeling like it's as easy to optimize your utilization versus those who have done it a bit more.
Also, it's Wraith Knights with back attack stop spell. Could they not?
Well, did you end up getting the sword early? Because we had kind of a lot of strength. They were.
I got it decently early. Probably not as early as the rest of you.
I felt like I got it pretty late. Like, I didn't go to that bottom left section for quite a while, actually.
Memory serves, I think Ziggy was the first to the sword. Beta, you might have been second, but not like right on top of each other or anything.
Didn't feel super important with the hurt more. Like, we had enough resources after a few levels to make it worthwhile to just not swing at anything. And it's like, once I got the sword, I started swinging at stuff because trying to clear exploration and be efficient with resources. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting seed. But in practice, I was preparing for a situation where we might be targeting treasure guards with, like, say, 60 hit points, no equipment, sleep, heal, torches. I was hoping for something like that, and this was not at all that.
I gotta ask, what did people do for their grind? Because I see I was way behind on XP.
I didn't really grind except at the very end, because I figured 16 would be very, very tight with no herbs. Swamp had a golem that was perfectly fine, but I got most of my XP on the way.
I killed 4 metal slimes.
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't see one. Actually, I didn't see a single metal slime.
I think I pretty much did what Ziggy did as far as getting XP. Like, it was just mostly just fighting stuff while looking for things with repel up. Like, there was plenty of like green dragons, star wyverns, things like that on the overworld. And I think I only had to get 1 level at the very end off the golem. And also I did on my armor dive, I was fighting a lot of things, and then I got very concerned at the end because I was running out of resources.
Yeah, that was my initial plan when I dove for armor, and then I was down to 8 MP when I finally picked it up.
Yeah, chat reminding us as well. I think really the difference in this one, because we were pretty stratified to Ziggy being in the XP lead, followed by Beta, followed by Judgejoe, followed by Engidave for a lot of the race. The early dive into Mountain Cave for Ziggy, and honestly, the fact that you weren't able to get to that 5th chest multiple times kept pushing you back down there, and the zones down there, you had the green dragons on the top floor, you had the star wyverns and something else that was really worthwhile on the axe knights, I think, on the bottom floor.
It was axe knights. I ran into one when I was getting the sword.
Yeah,
Like-
Axe Knights and the Star Wyverns. Star Wyvern rolled really, really high at like 150. They were very valuable.
Yeah, you earned yourself as a result of kind of going back there a couple of times, again, somewhat by necessity because you weren't able to fully clear it. That allowed you to build a bit of an XP lead and get some extra stats. You know, you got your better healing spells and just be a little bit more efficient and a little bit more safe on the overworld. We certainly saw a few people get trolled by annoying abilities like, oh, apparently, what was it that had DL2 breath? The wizard, I think it was?
Wizards, metal scorpions. I think I got back attack killed twice by those early on.
Yes, we saw that. We saw that one as well. Engidave. That would have was that an Exacties lethal on 69 HP, I think, as well, or something pretty close.
Yes.
It was unfortunate.
I think that's where initial impressions and encounters are so very important and how they tend to skew things, because my first dip into Mountain Cave, I got killed by a golem instantly, so I was just like, I'm just gonna look elsewhere until I get a few levels and then go back in.
Yeah, that was very different for me. I actually one-shot the green dragon with hurt more, so that was very fortunate. And from there on, I had a lot of stats, so I could survive pretty much everything.
I held off for a bit, wanting Radiant, and then I couldn't hold off for too much longer, so I eventually dove and enjoyed the greens, but because I held off, I didn't need to, like, triple, quadruple dip, so I only spent a little time there.
Well, I guess I just want to say GG to everyone. I do think that this was a very competitive race, and there was a lot of small decisions that I think helped here and there, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the watch back. But you know, we do have to congratulate Ziggy and Beta for getting to move on to the semis. But first, to Engidave and Joe, this is the end of the tournament. I know both of you, this is your first DWR event. And I think I had seen both of you race a few times coming in. And to make it this far, Winter League is... I think people are always surprised, but I'm not surprised, because a lot of Winter League is learning the flags and figuring out stuff. And when you have the will to do that, and you have, you know, general randomizer know-how, you can get pretty far. And both of you did very well. But do either of you have any, I don't know, kind of final thoughts about the tournament, or about just the whole thing, whole shebang?
Thank you, everyone. It was a lot of fun. I kind of joined at a whim when Dave kind of mentioned that Joe is strength agility, so that kind of brought me into DWR and enjoyed learning it. And well, I did not expect for the first 5 weeks to go as I did. Today went about where I was expecting, but good luck, and may you have fun in week 8 with the second flag set.
I will have to survive week 7. That's probably not going to be easy. It's a very interesting flag set. Like, anything can happen. I think it's going to be interesting to watch.
Indeed, and I did Judge Joe. I know we faced off twice, and you got me both times, and I was hoping for a chance at revenge. In fact, I think both of the previous races, I decided that if I beat you, I was going to say like revenge for Archfield or something, since you beat him in the Final Fantasy V Career Day finals. Not that there's any sort of revenge needed, but I was just going to do it. But I'm a bit sad I didn't get the opportunity to. But you played an extraordinarily good tournament, and I think we were all excited to see that. Now, Engidave, did you have any final thoughts to share?
Sure. Honestly, it's been fun learning a new randomizer. Honestly, this tournament's been fun to play as a whole. Don't take anything from my tone. I am just very, very tired.
I thought your name choice might have something to do with the starting time.
No, we had to do some jerk scheduling an early morning meeting today. But it's been fun playing this, learning a new randomizer, and honestly, I'll be back to play around in a few months for summer.
All right, and you can always keep an eye out. Once the Winter League ends, the Sunday weeklies kick back in, and you'll start to see some people schedule more random pickup races. They don't try too hard during the tournament because people tend to focus on this, but there's a few people still chomping at the bit for some of those casual races, and if you want, they'll be there for you. And now, again, Ziggy and Beta, you already mentioned a little bit. Week 7, you got high-end flute shenanigans with random spell costs and all sorts of craziness. You guys looking forward to this?
No.
Yes.
Well, isn't that the dichotomy?
Yes, because I just get to watch.
Look, I'll practice it like I've practiced every other flag set. I'll probably complain about it bitterly, like I complain about pretty much every flag set bitterly, but I'll figure something out. I mean, it's gonna be absolutely crazy as far as what actually happens in the race. I'm sure we're gonna see some very strange decision making for the end game. I mean, it's chaos, so we could get wrecked by DL1 pretty easily, but the flute works on everything, so I don't know. I'll have to figure something out and try something crazy to surprise chat.
78 HP Dragon Lord fight?
I mean, anything is possible. It's just that the DL1 situation is problematic with that. Like, if we didn't have chaos stat monsters, you could potentially go for DL2 at like 49 hit points or something, but I don't think I would be too interested in trying that with chaos.
Because DL1 could just punch you into oblivion. Or the spike.
Yeah, those are the two things that scramble it. Like, I think this would be more interesting if we didn't have chaos monsters, because you'd see some absolutely insane decision making at the end, but you still might see some envelope pushing by the runners. At least I hope so.
Well, as we look forward to that flag set next week, this was the final of our 4 quarterfinal races, so we now have the matchups set. We do not have a specific reveal show or anything planned for the upcoming semifinals in Week 7, but we do now have the groups set in Group E, reminding everybody that these were created by just placing the first place finisher from one group and the second place finisher from the same group into opposite groups, and then just doing it the opposite way for the other groups. So in Group E, we have from A to Z, Aaron to U2, Artorias, Zatrex, and Ziggy. The A's and the Z's have it. And in Group F, on the other side of the bracket, we will have Beta, myself, Quinn Patrick, and Joef. So 2 all-star matchups. So the two of you who are advancing, any thoughts on those 2 semifinal pairings?
Well, I'm excited to get to race Ziggy. I owe him from the standard tournament, and he is one of my named rivals, so I've been chomping at the bit to get a chance to get a piece of him.
Well, that's going to be pretty fun. We were joking during the tournament that we were dodging each other. Well, actually, Aaron accused me of dodging him because I ended up finishing second in my race against Judgejoe in week 2. So I didn't play in week 1, and I didn't manage to get into the group 1 in week 5. So now finally we'll get to play a race. That's going to be pretty fun.
I think I saw Diabetes the second at this stage of last year's Winter League, so hopefully this outcome is a little bit different. We shall see.
Speak for yourself. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting, I think, race between all of us. It's kind of a weird scenario where both of us in the booth are also going to be in these 2 races on opposite sides with each of you. I think that this flag set is going to provide a lot of intrigue. It's going to depend a lot on how specific things roll. Again, for those of you who don't know, the major 3 things that are involved next week: Flute for All, Magic Herbs, and random spell costs. So you can put anything in the game to sleep with the Fairy Flute as soon as you find it. Herbs refill MP instead of HP, and the spell costs are going to be randomized. So there is the possibility for some like 1 MP, 2 MP, heal more, hurt more costs. And with Magic Herbs, and as long as you can keep putting the Dragon Lord to sleep, you could just cast hurt more over and over and over again until you get those 2 or 3 to land, if you can try that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. I think there's going to be a lot of variance, even more than the usual Winter League flag sets.
Yeah, I do want to point out one other small thing. I just noticed that due to our Group E, I think I'm the only one who's been in the finals before. So we will have at least one new finalist this year, which is always exciting. Sometimes Winter League feels like the same sort of people always wind up at the top, which isn't the case. I think last year, I think Jay Coper actually made the finals for the first time. But yeah, so we will have at least one new finalist, if whoever, maybe 2, maybe 3, can't be 4, because I think Group F has had 3 people made it there before.
All right, well, it looks like that's going to wrap it up. If anyone has any final thoughts, by all means. Otherwise, on behalf of the admin staff, I will simply say that thank you, everybody, for participating in this year's race. Again, to Judgejoe and Engidave, thanks for trying things out and doing very, very well in your first DWR events. Good luck and congratulations to Beta and Ziggy, who will be advancing to next week's semifinals. And, of course, on behalf of Aaron here in the booth with me, as well as our restream volunteers, we had RG365 on the tracking. We also had Camion on the restream broadcast as well. And we had another tracker, I'm sure, and I can't see who it was. Sorry.
Yeah, just Chris. He left shortly after the race was over.
Right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for helping us out tonight. And Aaron, if you have any final thoughts, you can send us out.
No, just again, thanks everyone. And it looks like we are heading over to Ness Cardinality, who is working on more Deja Vu world record attempts again, because it's Deja Vu, get it? Anyway, thanks everyone, and stay tuned. We have at least 4 more races to go in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Winter League tournament. Have a good one.